Viewer discretion is advised. The following story contains disturbing details that may not be suitable for all audiences. Please proceed with caution. Welcome to Secrets in the Shadows, where we unravel the darkest mysteries and true crime cases that will leave you speechless. I'm Charlotte, and we're diving into a case that remained unsolved for nearly 40 years. A case of a mother, a newborn, and the unrelenting pursuit of justice. Some may call it justice, while others argue it was anything but fair. This is the case of Theresa Bentaas and baby Andrew. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Secrets in the Shadows. This case highlights how advancements in forensic science can bring long-forgotten crimes back into the public eye, but it also raises questions about how justice is served when decades have passed. Now, let's begin. It was a cold day in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, March 1981. A man, just going about his daily routine, walked along a roadside ditch on an ordinary afternoon. But what he saw was anything but ordinary. Wrapped in a blanket, barely visible, lay the tiny, lifeless body of a newborn baby. The baby had been abandoned, left alone in the cold. The man called the police, and soon officers arrived at the scene. What they discovered was heartbreaking. The infant, just hours, maybe minutes, old, had died alone in the elements. The autopsy would later reveal that the baby had been born alive, but had no medical care. His tiny lungs had inhaled air. His life had barely begun. The baby was named Baby Andrew by authorities, a small attempt to give identity to the nameless child. But despite their best efforts, investigators were unable to determine who he belonged to. No witnesses, no surveillance cameras, no DNA testing advanced enough at the time to provide answers. For years, baby Andrew remained a mystery, a cold case that seemed impossible to solve, until 2019. That's when everything changed. 38 years passed. A new millennium, a new era of forensic science, and with it, a major breakthrough. Investigators had never forgotten about baby Andrew. With new advancements in genetic genealogy, they decided to submit the DNA sample of the baby to a database. It was a long shot, but they took it. And then they got a hit. The mother was identified as Theresa Bentaas, a 57-year-old woman living in Sioux Falls. At the time of the baby's death, she was only 19. Investigators tracked her down, and soon she was placed under arrest. But here's where things take a shocking turn. What should have been a case of seeking justice for baby Andrew quickly became a battle of morality and law. What really happened that night in 1981? And was Theresa Bentaas truly the monster the prosecution painted her to be? When confronted with the DNA evidence, Theresa Bentaas admitted that baby Andrew was her son, but she claimed she had hidden her pregnancy, fearing the consequences of being an unwed teenager in a strict household. She stated that she gave birth alone in her apartment and that the baby was stillborn. Scared and panicked, she left him in the ditch, believing there was nothing more she could do. The prosecution, however, painted a different picture. They argued that baby Andrew was born alive and abandoned to die. They charged her with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and manslaughter. It was a battle between science, ethics, and decades of silence. After much deliberation, Theresa Bentaas entered an Alford plea, a legal move where she did not admit guilt, but acknowledged that the evidence could likely lead to a conviction. The murder charges were dropped. Instead, she was convicted of first-degree manslaughter. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but served less than 3 months before being released on parole. 3 months. A life taken, a decades-long mystery solved, and just 3 months in prison. Was this justice, or was it a failure of the system? The case of Theresa Bentaas sparked a nationwide debate. Some argued that she had suffered enough, haunted by the choices of her 19-year-old self, forced to relive them in the public eye nearly 4 decades later. Others claimed she got away with murder, that baby Andrew never got the justice he deserved. Judge Bradley Zell, during sentencing, highlighted the ambiguity surrounding baby Andrew's death. He noted that it was not clear whether Theresa Bentaas had intentionally caused her baby's death. This played a significant role in his decision to suspend 9 years of her 10-year sentence. This case also showed the difficulties of prosecuting cases that happened so long ago, where evidence might be limited and memories can fade. The relatively short duration of Bentaas's imprisonment, given the severity of the charge, has sparked discussions about whether her sentence was appropriate. Some argue that the case was too old to judge by modern legal standards, while others believe justice was not fully served. To this day, Theresa Bentaas lives as a free woman. She has never publicly spoken about the case. Baby Andrew was laid to rest on March 7, 1981, at St. Michael's Cemetery in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The community gathered to provide a proper burial, with local organizations donating services. His grave is marked and has been visited by community members over the years. His story, one of abandonment, mystery, and controversy, serves as a haunting reminder of the cases that slip through the cracks of time until science brings them back to light. So, what do you think about the case? Was justice served, or was this a failure of the legal system? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling true crime stories on Secrets in the Shadows. Thank you for watching. Rest in peace, baby Andrew. And remember, the truth always lurks in the shadows.